'Cause I'm in the stars tonight. So watch me bring.
I'm going to be telling you the scary story of the house I lived in elementary and middle school. It was a 3-bedroom house, 1 bedroom in the basement and 2 bedrooms upstairs. Because I was the oldest, I got put in the bedroom in the basement. Right when we moved in, I already had creepy feelings about the house. I hated being downstairs by myself. One day I dropped a $20 bill behind my dresser. I decided to move my dresser all by myself, and behind the dresser was this door. It wasn't a normal door, it was really short and just squared. It was also glued off, so I couldn't get into it. Me and my neighbor, who were best friends, worked at it for days to get into it. We finally got it open, and inside was another room. It was almost like an underground attic. The walls were wooden, the ceiling was wooden. There was no carpet, but it smelled awful. My parents found out and they were super mad at me for opening the room. They of course put that dresser in front of that door for a reason because they knew I would explore it. But after that, things started to get weird. Stay tuned for part 2. This is part 2 of my scary childhood story about the door behind my dresser. Of course, my parents were really mad at us for opening it up, so they sealed it back up. They just didn't want us to get hurt from all the rusty nails or if there was mold inside. But I think we released something when we opened that door and a lot of things started to happen. First, I started having night terrors to the point where I would scream at the top of my lungs and not wake up. My parents would have to come downstairs and wake me up and put me back to bed. Then, every single night I would have this reoccurring dream that me, my mom, and my brother were all at a picnic at the beach. This super old lady would walk up to us and she would take me. She then would lock me up in the room behind my dresser. This dream would reoccur every single night for months. It scared me so much that I started to not sleep at night. I developed insomnia and would only sleep for 2 to 3 hours per night at only 8 years old. There was a couple nights where I swear I saw the old lady standing in the corner of my room. My parents just thought I was hallucinating from no sleep though. Stay tuned for part 3. This is part 3 of my scary childhood story about the door behind my dresser. Because I wasn't sleeping and developed insomnia, my parents took me to a sleep therapist. The only thing the therapist gave me was a bunch of sleeping pills. Even though the sleeping pills worked, it made my dreams so much worse. I even started walking in my sleep. I would wake up all the time not in my bed. My covers would be all the way across the room like someone had dragged them over there. One night, one of my best friends slept over and we heard knocking coming from the door behind my dresser. That night when we went to bed, she started speaking really creepy gibberish in her sleep. I had to go get my mom to wake her up. I woke up a couple nights feeling like I was suffocating, and when I swung out of bed, I saw a silhouette of an old lady. My cat even started to sit there and meow and hiss at random things in the corners of the room. But there was nothing ever there. It got so bad to the point where I moved up into my brother's room. If any of you have listened to all 3 parts and are experts on spirits, please message me on Instagram and tell me what you think I released that night when I opened the door.
Dark things Disney doesn't want you to know? Today let's talk about the man with the cane, a real-life ghost that haunts the Haunted Mansion ride. How ironic. Legend goes that back in the day, this man died on the property that is now Disney. He has been seen by a number of Disney employees and likes to haunt the Haunted Mansion ride. He is referred to as the man with the cane because he is a man and with a cane. According to employees, they see him get on the ride, but never see him leave. He just mysteriously disappears. This man likes to appear late at night, especially after closing. Apparently, it's thought that this man is trapped between 2 worlds. He's literally trapped at Disney and can't escape. Just be careful if you ever come across this ghost man at Disney. Also, follow me on YouTube for more videos like this.
Do you like taking pictures of your friends and family? One woman took photos of her daughter, but what she saw after the photos were developed was terrifying. So her daughter always dreamt of being a ballerina, until one tragic day when she fell ill. The doctor said that she didn't have long. She quickly lost a lot of energy and soon could barely leave her bed. But one day when her mother came into her room, she was dancing again. Her mother was so happy. She grabbed her film camera and began taking photos, and soon after something horrifying happened. Her daughter's eyes rolled back and she fell on the floor. She was quickly taken to the hospital, where doctors said that she succumbed to her illness because the dancing was too much for her heart to handle. However, when her mother developed the photos that she took earlier just to remember her daughter by, she could not believe what she saw. In every picture, she saw a dark shadow standing behind her daughter, clutching her head and pulling her back and forth. Something in her daughter's room was forcing her to dance.
a boy near the border of Syria and Israel was born with a long red birthmark on his head, and around the age of 3, the boy started to claim that he was murdered in his past life. This doctor and a German therapist started to follow the boy closely, and the little boy told them the story of how he was struck and killed with an axe. Under the evaluation of the doctor and therapist, the boy took them and the town elders to the place where he thought his previous body was buried. And sure enough, after hours of digging, they pulled up a skeleton from the dirt. The skull had an obvious blow to the head, which matched up perfectly to the birthmark the boy was born with. He was also able to give the name of his killer, who at first denied the claims, but later admitted his guilt after the boy's former body and murder weapon were found.
This is why you should always know your mom's voice. A young girl named Casey is playing in her bedroom and folding some clothes. As she's playing in her room, she starts hearing plates being thrown around in the kitchen. Her not thinking anything of it continues to play. She then hears her mother call her name from the kitchen. Casey responds, "Coming," and begins walking down the hallway. As she is walking down the hallway, a hand pops out of the closet and grabs her. The hand pulls her in and Casey looks and it's her mother. She pulls Casey close and whispers in her ear, "Don't go in the kitchen, I heard it too." If you guys want to see more stories like this, make sure to like and follow.